Okay, it's time to explore the west coast, but we need to not forget that we want to go and talk to the guy smoking on the balcony after 2100, after 9 p.m. The radio relay hums with electricity. Ooh, give me that money. A breaker box to power the radio pylon above you. Maybe there's something inside. More money. Ahead, decades-old concrete defenses. Children play on them now. A creaking ahead, a broken axle grinding. Hey, a banged-up fuel canister. A bottle drained of all its booze is frozen to the ice.
A banged-up motor carriage lies half submerged in the icy water, slowly sinking into the Elysium Ocean. Only the cabin top, rear wheels, and the engine remain visible. It must be cold and lonely down there, in the icy water. Remember the tire tracks in Martinez? This is where they were leading.
This is where the tracks on the plaza were leading to.
It appears to be so.
The lieutenant has a peculiar look in his eyes as he inspects the wreckage. Let's investigate.
I agree. We should definitely investigate.
The lieutenant replies, his eyes never leaving the sunken vehicle.
You get a sudden sinking feeling. Stomach acid comes up as you look at the motor carriage in the deep, dark, cold water. Why the doom and gloom? It's just a sunken motor carriage. Some motor carriages are bound to end up in the sea.
Run your hand over the cold metal.
The motor carriage is properly stuck in the ice. Getting it out would require a team of specialists.
What is the make of this motor carriage? Can I see a logo?
The logo is too deep in the murky water. You can't make it out, but you do see a monkfish float by.
How long has it been here?
The ice hasn't closed around the vehicle yet. My guess is it's been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
The estimate is correct. The incident probably occurred on Sunday evening.
What should we do now?
Let's wait for the low tide and see what's inside.
Great idea. Then we can get the things inside. The joyrider must have left something good inside. Guns, papers, maybe a cool jacket. A joyrider jacket. A joyrider jacket. You feel a strange connection to this joyrider. Maybe he's from some kind of joyriders district and likes blue and white racing livery, like a cop would.
How long will it take for the tide to come in?
I don't know. An hour or two, tops?
Sit on the swing and wait for the tide to recede.
As you sit down in the old rusty playground, the world around you becomes very silent. The hinges creak under your weight, dangerously so. Nothing but the sound of seagulls high above in the sky, echoing like distant laughter. Ice cracks around the blue motor carriage in the sea.
Drama, medium. Whistle a tune.
The tune on your lips forms a strange yet undeniably beautiful contrast with the surrounding bleakness. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. Then, still looking straight ahead, he joins you with a higher pitched and slightly more melodic trill. Two birds on a wire, whistling by the seaside, looking at the water and the sunken car. The clouds pass in the sky, and the shadow of the swing moves like the hour hand on a timepiece. 30 minutes have passed. Looks like this might take a while. Time to present a good topic for discussion.
Oh no, the first option is so bad. We're not doing that. Would you rather sit on an anthill for an hour or stand in a river of leeches?
Well, historically, leeches have been used to prevent and even cure many ailments.
Okay, he's thinking. I can do this. Let's do this. Who'd want to sit on an anthill? There are no therapeutic benefits to... Well, napalm ants, for example, are used in some rites of passage rituals. Clouds on the horizon grow darker, and the shadow of the swing set keeps climbing. You hear the distant rumble of the city. 30 minutes pass.
If you have to side with either the strikers or the shipping company, who would you choose?
Luckily, I am already a member of an independent organization, and therefore do not have to choose between a rock and a hard place.
But if someone puts a gun to your head...
Your voice echoes on the water, strange and out of place in the environment. 30 more minutes pass.
Can you make out the marquee now?
Detective, I've been able to make out the mark ever since we arrived. I find it odd that you haven't. It's a Coupris, Model 40.
His eyes turn to you.
It is a simple and rugged machine, favored by working men, government offices, firefighters, animal control people, you know, those kinds of people.
Squint your eyes and say, "Is that a number on the side?"
Yes, 41. What do you think it stands for?
It's as if he knows what it stands for, but wants you to say it. It's pedagogical. Does he know something about the driver of this vehicle?
I hate guessing. District something? A precinct? Something municipal? Rub your temples, you're getting a headache.
A precinct, yes. A police precinct. Precinct 41, your precinct.
A massive pit opens up in your stomach, and the most terrible feeling comes over you. No. Just nope. Say no to this, Harry.
No, no.
Yes, your car is in the sea. Face it, so we can start dealing with this.
No, I mean seriously, it's just a coincidence.
The lieutenant just shakes his head.
Oh my god, it's mine. I drove my car into the sea.
I'm afraid so, yes. It looks like you started in front of the whirling, jumped over the canal, and then drove your vehicle in the sea right here.
Maybe I was in pursuit of someone.
Of whom? I don't think so. If anything, you were probably drunk.
How do we get it out?
Detective, we don't. A rescue operation really isn't viable at this point.
So it's just gonna be there like that.
I'm afraid it will have to be there like that for many years. Look at it. Parts of it might be salvageable, but overall, this machine is a write-off.
They're not gonna take me back after this, are they?
People are more valuable than machines. Training a police officer is even more costly.
I can still fix it.
That is very unlikely. All the electrics are toast. That goes for the electromagnetic steering and brake systems as well. You'd be lucky to find one undamaged component in there. In a few months, there will be nothing but rust left of this vehicle. It'll be cheaper to buy a new one. Well, not cheaper. This motor carriage costs 40,000 real. But in the long run, it still makes more sense to buy a new machine than try to refurbish this.
I couldn't even pay a hostel bill.
Let's face it, this is a substantial loss to your district's budget. I mean, my station only has 4 other vehicles in addition to my kinema.
This was 20% of the station's vehicular budget.
Things were going so well, we were just whistling merrily.
You can still whistle. Besides, the night is always darkest before the dawn.
The lieutenant says with a smile.
At least we have a pretty good suspect. If we found your motor carriage in the sea, maybe we'll find her too.
The badge, the gun, and now this.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and doesn't say anything. There is also a 4th thing you've lost.
4th thing.
More precious than the gun, the badge, and the motor carriage combined. Lost forever into the deepest of seas.
Well, at least I can see what's in there now.
Yes, let's go take a look.
RCM badge, Lieutenant 2JFR, Harry Dubois. RCM Commander's jacket, +1 esprit de corps, +1 visual calculus. Footprints in the snow, they lead away from the accident. The underside of the boat has recently been tarred. Oh, we have quick travel now. Very cool. This woman next to a bucket of clothes hums an odd melody. Her eyes are closed.
You're not sure about the melody, but it might be South Samaran, possibly Sigayan, also known as the apricot sujunti.
Welcome to the fishing village. Please lean in closer. I have cataracts.
Lean forward.
Oh, welcome, police officer. We don't cause any trouble around here. And we don't want any trouble either.
We are not here to cause any trouble, madame.
Trouble? Say the second thing, Bratan. Shows you got style.
We're cops. We're hellraisers. Click, click, bang, bang.
No, you're not. I've seen you around here before. 12 years ago. You didn't raise any hell. You were quite helpful, actually. But still, in Martinez, you're considered an ill omen.
Wait, I've been here before.
No, not you personally. I meant the RCM. Some of the men got into a fight. One of them killed another, locked himself in that woodshed over there.
She points to the building behind her.
He was brooding, needed some help opening the door. You got it open for him and took him to think about what he'd done in a more secluded place, somewhere more quiet.
She says it as if he was on some kind of spiritual retreat.
If I'm considered an ill omen, why hasn't anyone told me that?
Maybe they are afraid.
Why?
Because you're an ill omen. But you're still welcome here, as long as men with guns aren't chasing you. And maybe even then, because that's the kind of fishing village we've built. I'm sorry there's not a lot of room to park the motor carriage, and not a lot of houses, or a lot of people. My kids are long gone, searching for treasure. So are others. Ah, look at me ramble on. What brings you to us?
Where could someone stay around here?
Stay? Most people here are trying to leave. That said, if lodgings is what you're looking for, I've got a free room in the shack.
Her soapy thumb points to the building behind her. Don't know if I can afford another place to stay.
I won't charge you for it. Take it as a gesture of goodwill from the village to the RCM.
There's this guy, Gart, who makes me give him money every night just so I don't die out in the cold.
That's exactly how they get ya. That's why we built our own cinder block houses on the seaside. So we don't have to give money to those crooks. We might not look like much, but they are ours.
Wait, why isn't anyone using the room?
My kids grew up and left like they do. The house is long empty now. I live in the small side attachment. It's easier and cheaper to keep warm.
You got yourself a tenant.
Don't make an old woman regret opening her house to the police.
A key appears from under her apron. She hands it to you.
Well, if you are not in the hostel in the morning, I'll know where to find you. Here, in a shack.
He's a little relieved you're no longer in that room. Should he? This environment encourages one thing, and one thing only. Drinking.
Finally, you have those lamos of Martinez off your back, Bratan. This looks like a great place to bring chicks.
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast?
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Okay, but do you know who I'm talking about?
This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other.
This is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need to help her come out.
No, it's not like that, man. With him we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
I see. You know something, but you've decided not to tell us.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too.
What is in this fishing village?
Just us. It's barely a village anymore. We almost don't exist.
What do you mean?
This is pretty much a non-place. A gap. A blank spot on the map. Just a cluster of nameless shacks on a nameless street.
The place is so pornographically poor, it's not even funny.
There's got to be something here. Tell me.
Over there, you can find more of the same. Shacks and trees growing wild. That's the pox.
The pox. What's that?
An old military hospital and its surroundings. Or it used to be, during the time of the suzerain.
She looks toward the buildings to the south.
After the war, it was turned into a goodwill hospital for shell-shock veterans and folks looking for some quiet in the old sanatorium gardens. Now the area is crisscrossed with nameless streets and makeshift cinder block houses, shacks as far as the eye can see.
What happened to the hospital?
The goodwill ran out. The staff left and the place was shut down. It's long gone by now.
Who else lives in this village?
Well, there's Lillian and her kids. A few new folks live in the house to the east, but they're away right now. And then there's the drunks. Not a pretty sight, but there's little we can do about it. Home is home, even for them.
Who? What drunks?
Sooner or later, you'll see for yourself. Don't have to look long to find these guys.
Alright, there's another topic I'd like to address.
She nods, rinsing another piece of cloth.
What's further down the coast?
Not much. There's the abandoned church, the DeLorean Church of Humanity. It's been there since before my time, even.
Why is it abandoned?
Some things just don't fly, officer. Look around. Who'd go to church here? They built it 300 years ago. Must have been nicer then.
She smiles a gap-toothed smile and smells the air.
So, they don't hold services there anymore? The Ecclesiastes?
No, we've tried, but things just keep happening. Crime, accidents, other things. The place never stays open. It's a pity. It used to be such a nice church.
She's not telling you all she knows. Keep her talking.
I get the feeling you're leaving stuff out. What else is going on?
Well, there's that music. Music from across the sea. It started a few days ago, and now it's blasting even through the night. And now, suspicious-looking people are sneaking around the church. I don't like that.
Interesting. You could look into this ruckus if you have the time. Perhaps the mysterious music is somehow connected to the case. A Rusalka or a half-demonic Apsara singing.
What else is on down coast?
Before you get to the church, there's some ruins, an apartment complex, or some kind of electrical plant. Run-down bunch of houses, empty.
Which is it then, apartments or electrical plant?
I don't know exactly. A pre-war place. It used to be something. Before the war. I wasn't here then, you know. Was born in Samara.
Anything else of note?
Of note, The old fish market up on the boardwalk. But it's closed.
Who'd want to come to a fish market here?
No one. That's why it's closed. It was once a bustling place, back when I was young, and so was everyone else. Now, what catch we do bring in goes straight into a lorry for the Delta or somewhere else.
That's it? There's got to be more along the coast.
What? You're one of those real estate people with big plans? If you want a development opportunity, you can check out the abandoned building over at Land's End. Used to be a supply depot, we think, sending goods and ammo across the bay. It's jammed shut though. We tried to get in, see if there was anything to sell or scavenge, but it's impossible. And now you know everything there is to know about this coast.
She drops a bar of soap into the bucket with a splash. Tell me about yourself. Who exactly are you here?
Me? No one. Just an old washerwoman. Mother called me Isabel, if that's what you're asking. And my married name is Sadie. Now it's your turn, Mr.
Call me Harry.
Why, I guess I will, Harry. Aye, it just rolls off the tongue. I used to know a Harry. Strong lad, but dumb as a rock.
What happened to him?
He did too many narcotics. So many, he fell off his boat and split his skull on a buoy. Folks who saw it say his head cracked open like a melon. Nasty, nasty.
I was asked to get your signature. Hand her the envelope.
Eh? What's this about? Come now, I can't read all this scribble. Tell me what it says.
Everhart wants to turn part of the village into a little youth center.
Huh. I might be half blind, but it looks like part of the village is gonna be a street. The best part. The part we need to get out of our houses. Have you asked Lillian about this? I won't even consider signing till I know she's on board.
She hands the envelope back. Oh, wait, where can I find her?
She's right over there. The dark-haired woman, leaning over the railing.
I'll go ask her first then.
Yes, you do that. Can't let fat Mr. Clare down now, can you?
She is not impressed by a cop running errands for a local bigwig. Not at all.
Goodbye, I'm off. Yeah, neither am I, but I want that gun back. You can't see into the house from this angle. Inside, you can hear the cozy sound of some kind of heater sputtering.
The door has seen better days. The layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea. Even the lock looks slightly rusted.
Unlock the shack door with the key.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement and look for any signs of Ruby. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the Whirling in Rags for the night. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
The floorboards creak under your step. This intricate heat engine hums quietly, giving out pleasant warmth. Old science fiction magazines, books about birdwatching, an almanac from '39. You see the waves, the sea, a church.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Move the board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
Search through the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber.
This bullet isn't for a breech loader like the murder weapon?
The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with. Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself. On the table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap, and next to it, a small hand mirror. A straight razor soaks inside the wash basin.
Is shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your face. Nose bulbous and red, hair unkempt, wrinkles lining the eyes and forehead. The stash is gigantic. An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
That's cool. The modifiers for attempting to stop the expression from happening. +2, know the origin. +4, recited the poem, Tommy. The interaction with the lorry driver. Korojev jacket. +1 to logic. Interesting.
The bed is comforting.
Yeah, we can't rest yet.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why was there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack?
Damn that girl.
A bullet?
Lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her.
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
Her wrinkled hand kneads a blue rag in the water.
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
You said she left on Monday.
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else there?
No,
The truth, sire.
What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
She looks back toward the shack, thinking.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye, do tell.
A seagull flies overhead, obviously a bad omen. It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
This, spread your hands.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
I heard she was a heavy drinker with some anger issues. You ever witness that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset.
The sun sets for everyone.
She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself, the way some people do.
Did she have any technical equipment with her, like radio stuff?
Not that I knew of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made.
She brushes her forehead with the back of her hand. Water drips to the ground.
Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that.
Where did she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Are you sure she didn't go somewhere more pleasant and less wet?
Yes, it's going to be too much work for you to find her. Better for you to stay here, get a nice cozy fire going in the heater.
She drops the rag into the bucket. It's clean now.
No, you can do it. You still have plenty of juice in you before you drop. Behind the cinder block houses, old pre-war ruins rise to the sky like dark palaces. The wind calls.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She looks around. The air is getting colder.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
The street sign is illegible below the graffiti. Construction material. Whoever planned to build this house left in a hurry. A wedding stone, well worn and covered in rust. White curtains have been drawn shut. No looking in. There's some speed. You see dust-covered linens, dried tulips on a bed. Enter Isolary trousers, +1 to Kingdom of Conscience. That's not an attribute that we have. Where did they go? Am I crazy? Those were brown trousers? Oh, they're there. There's the graphic wasn't loading. Interesting. Tailored trousers in light brown, moderate in every aspect. They're absolutely unremarkable. In other words, perfect. Weird. Sounds like life in the north. A washboard scrubs filth from fabric. Through the broken glass, dusty shelves, and a forgotten chair. A cold breeze is enough to make the wall planks creak. You see a dark red chair in the dim light of the room. Postcard, Coal City 08. Bow knot, +2 drama bow tie. We're getting all kinds of clothes here. There's a boat tucked away underneath the tarpaulin cover. Someone has left their music collection beneath the tarp. Someone has broken down the fence and the barbed wire. The swing is missing. No one's been here for a long
Rust
time.
peels off the bent iron posts of the swing. The wind whistles through the skeleton of the small house behind you. There's desolation everywhere.
What happened here?
In this yard?
The lieutenant looks at the small building. A flock of gray swallows takes off in the distance.
He's assessing the situation. How long ago was it abandoned?
Someone thought they could have a summer house in a bloc obscur. For cheap. It didn't work out. They abandoned it about a decade ago.
So this part of the coast is a bloc obscur?
Practically, it's not an official term in any way, but look around. No sewage, broken power lines, crime, drunks. Life is tough in the blocks. It's no place to build a summer house.
Maybe they left something useful behind.
Yes, for you to scavenge like a post-apocalyptic scavenger who collects trash and errant magnesium blisters.
He gives you a weary smile.
It's not meant as nagging, just an observation.
We should move. I don't think our suspect is in this particular yard. No place to hide. And besides, it's too close to Martinez.
Glory, says the graffito, to the ghosts of us. Tape. Smallest church in Saint-Saëns. Birds in the birch tree. Barely audible coos come from above. Here's the RCM badge. Thick blue piece of acrylic covering a thin leaf of paper with the officer's name and rank on it. Next to the writing, you see a man stare back at you. A younger version of you, already disintegrating inside, but still presentable on the outside.
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
I found my badge.
At least something good came out of all this.
The lieutenant glances at the badge in your hands. Study the badge.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct.
Look at the photo.
The man keeps winking at you with his green-gray eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge.
How old?
8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns.
And he's winking? Why?
What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it does on you now. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Name, Harrier Dubois.
Harrier? That's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't.
Wait, what kind of name is Harrier?
It's a wartime name. Revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times. Like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
A name like armor.
Harrier Dubois it is, then.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Harrier Dubois.
He's not going to call you Harrier. He'll keep calling you officer when he's angry with you, and detective when he's not. The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light.
Rank.
You see lines of
Lieutenant W. Freighter.
What is a Lieutenant W. Freighter?
The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant.
And W. Freighter?
The title of Freighter is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're W. Freighter.
Declined.
There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's decomptage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors, out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank, in your case, lieutenant.
heavy-duty case-solving machine.
What's a décomptage?
Decomptage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens' militia. It means counting down to twos.
The countdown is modeled after the dual leadership system employed by the left during the revolution, which in turn was developed by last-century experimental psychologists in the University of Königstein.
The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, and then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kinks.
What kinks?
Kinks like satellite officers and the additional freighter rank I already explained.
The long and short of it is, you're his superior.
So you've been putting up with me because we're of the same rank?
No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work. It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He smiles encouragingly.
He trusts you, for now. Try not to spoil it. Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads,
Serial, Rev 126205, Jam 41.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure.
Date of issue 7th of November, 50.
4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
You're pretty sure you weren't doing well. But better? Probably yes. A lot can happen in 4 months. Especially in winter. The winters are never easy on you. Of that you are sure.
I remember that time! That was a good time. We had a good work-drink balance going. What happened, man? Pump it up!
Precinct 41?
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41, like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor, a lot of asphalt. The 41st is...
He stops. What?
It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is.
It's no wonder you are like you are, he thinks. But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiaeva. Roberts, Feuerbach, Dimitri. Suddenly, names from your decomptage flash in your forebrain. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Tape, smallest church in St. Saëns. The tape you found from a shack on the coast. The A side has smallest church in St. Saëns written on it, while the B side is supposed to contain the instrumental version. Requires a boombox to play.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reels attached to the apparatus with a satisfying click. The tape is routed behind the magnetic reader.
Press play.
You press the large button marked Commencer, and the tape starts spinning. There's a small delay before the song starts playing.
Press your ear against the speaker.
It sounds like someone's moving in the room, getting comfortable. Then the organ starts playing a simple, melancholic tune, echoing in the hallway. A lone singing voice joins in, telling you about the tiniest church in Cessons, surrounded by even tinier yard. You almost feel the seaside mist on your skin. It's mega sad. Within seconds you know This is the one. The real shit you've been looking for. The one you trust your room to. This one tells it like it is. This is your tune. A click, then silence for a bit. Then the tape stops spinning.
Could I sing this for karaoke? I think I could sing to this.
Of course you could sing this. You could take sad to a whole new level with this. And you already know the lyrics since you've listened to it like a million times. Yup, they're all here. All 3 verses. And the B-side of the tape contains the instrumental version. It's like the world itself is telling you to do it. Only one obstacle stands on your way.
What?
Gart. You have to convince Gart to let you sing karaoke in the whirling. After you've won him over, you can express yourself. Let the pain out. Make everyone understand. The lieutenant watches you pack up the boombox. He doesn't say anything.
I do want to go and convince Gart to let me sing karaoke, but I have one more thing I want to do on the coast before we travel back. Seems the walker was either very confused or drunk out of his mind. There's actually a whole lot to do over here, but I'm definitely not going to be able to get to all of it today. Book, a primer for small kids. The rear tire of a motor carriage adorns these reeds. The beams are splintered. The bridge didn't collapse on its own. Artillery broke it.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with.
A blond man stands next to his son, pointing to the weather-worn ruins. He sees you approaching and smiles.
You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitsuragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
The lieutenant nods. Hold on. Hypertext?
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He says, as if it's self-evident. And what was that about the windows before?
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall.
You and Kim know each other.
No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers.
He rests his hand on the boy's shoulder. The child stays hidden behind the hem of his father's coat, clutching to his worm-themed coloring book.
Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting really into worms lately.
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
He points to the building again.
This man is your half-brother. You feel it. But why? Well, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
What's so fascinating about an empty old building?
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building.
He raises his hand to his eyes, a springtime sun warming his handsome face. All four of you turn to admire the mural before you.
What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical. And Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
Hold on. What's R&D?
Wait, what's an R&D department?
Apologies, it's an acronym for research and development. They don't use it anymore.
He smiles brightly, laugh lines around his eyes.
You're probably more familiar with RTD, Research and Technological Development.
Mea culpa. You are not familiar with that one either. This man is a bookhead.
Look at the building looming over you.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
I don't think I've ever heard of this Feld Electrical.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains.
He adjusts his suit jacket.
They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve. Or should I say, they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here.
What was that ace?
It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer.
A tape computer.
An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution. Revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bringing them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He grins, admiring the sentence he just produced. What happened?
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
The boy wipes his nose on his sleeve.
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from this very building, or one of the adjacent ruins.
He pauses, pointing to the other building, then continues.
All of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D.
You're saying that Feld Electrical built this boardwalk?
Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
The lieutenant looks wistfully at the horizon, as if picturing gondolas rising to the sky.
Perhaps reminded of a childhood memory. It's clear he would prefer there were a big wheel lighting up the coast.
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans.
What happened to the engineers, the company people?
Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
He smiles again, as if he's somehow personally responsible for this bleak turn of events.
He means that the boys got shot by the communists. The boys were bourgeois.
Let's not say that to the kid. Tape computers, right.
Tape computers.
What did the revolutionaries do with these advanced tape computers?
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars.
He says, while his son looks up, idly chewing on the corner of his worm-themed coloring book. Le Décret de Mars, what was that?
What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a short-lived utopia.
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombe Bessere dans le Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
He looks at his son, who starts giggling, his face hidden behind the book.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
How did those tape computers work? Did they work like radio computers?
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
He raises his finger, remembering something.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Wompty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Jews joined the team. Trying to...
He did it. He said, Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dom Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Juiced?
Okay, the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. Paul Ackerman, Keith and Guy Juice. What are you talking about?
The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ackerman, chose to...
You're making this up. Kim, is he making this up?
In fact, I'm not. The Wompty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center.
He clears his throat.
But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then analyze the handwriting, perform operations, and project output onto a white screen. It was a beautiful, delicate thing.
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
So I really like this little aside, the tape computer, for a couple of reasons. One is that the tape computer that he's describing would be pretty much analogous to like early computers in the real world. How they would use reels of tape to like store code and whatnot. The other thing is that this dialogue box here, like that everything is scrolling on, this is actually a depiction of the magnetic tape that would be on the reels for this fictional tape computer. And I think that's really neat and kind of a subtle little detail that you might not notice immediately. Cool.
Very, very cool. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to this precious device. But so they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into the fires of 07.
Wait, the Feld playback experiment?
Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback experience, but those are incorrect.
Why did the revolutionaries destroy it?
Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building.
He takes a step back, and the boardwalk creaks mournfully in the wind. I wanted to ask something else.
But of course. What else?
He smiles and ruffles his kid's hair. I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
He pats his son's head.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
There's something friendly and familiar in how he says that. A day off. He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
You look like someone who has money. Do you have any money?
I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
He brushes it off like it's not a thing at all.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Could I have some of that unimportant money then?
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms.
He looks uncomfortable, his left hand squeezing his son's shoulder.
I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise to carry huge amounts of cash on such expeditions.
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
By the way, do you work out?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now and then.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island of Lo Mantang. It uses slender wooden sticks for confronting the opponent.
A form of martial arts from the Isle of Lo Montang, right?
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harli people, a name deriving from the butterfruit tree traditionally used for crafting the long, slender sticks, whereas the sticks used in other cultures.
You doze off as he paints you a comprehensive picture of the history of stick fighting among mankind, seasoning it with unexpected pop culture references. Man, he's good at speaking. People must love him.
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying?
He says after a while with a charming apologetic smile. I don't really remember what I was saying.
Then I guess everything got said, right?
He squints his eyes in the snow. Great. Thank you for all the interesting information.
No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain. A very interesting conversation indeed.
Pick your brain. If anything, this was rather one-sided. He did the talking. Whatever.
Time to learn the Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. Temporary research bonus, -1 suggestion, outsider. Research time, 42 minutes. The problem. It's Wednesday evening, and something heinously exciting is underway. People have gathered beneath the billowing roof of an oddly shaped trophy building, sipping wine and exchanging opinions. 29-year-old Wunder twins, Guy and Keith Joost, are the stars of the show, with their bomber jackets and white sneakers, head curators of this art exhibition. It's the Wompty Dumpty Dommiest event of the year, and all the cool kids have RSVP'd. Where are you, if you're not here? Another power box. It charges nothing now. It's empty. The fence blocks the path. No way on from here. Bars cover these long, dusty windows. Buzz, hum. The electricity flows through the wires with an audible power.
Someone has left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this railing. It smells really bad.
Take a closer look.
It's streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. It seems likely that it was left in the surf until someone laid it out on this fence to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened it into a shapeless mass.
Please tell me you're not taking that with you.
It might be a clue.
A clue? You think our suspect is a seagull who's been defecating on unsuspecting jacket?
Well, it could have been multiple seagulls.
A poet could write a dozen verses and still not begin to capture the profound vexation in that sigh. You should still take it. As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
Man, how did this jacket get so disgusting?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it?
Think about it.
It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it. It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed. It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore.
Okay, but what's the crust made of?
Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the feral dogs that prowl the beaches at night. The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, The jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing.
What happened once someone put it on the railing?
The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then?
I'm just going to pretend I didn't think about any of this.
It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck.
Maybe if I wipe my hands on my pants?
What? No. Then it'll just be on your pants. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out.
Mega Beano's prescription lenses, +2 encyclopedia, -1 perception. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. A coin-operated weighing machine hasn't been used for a decade. A makeshift roof. Vagrants have tried to make the boardwalk habitable. That tarp will keep out neither rain, nor snow, nor wind. A big wine canister. It's open and empty. Careful there. These floorboards look rotten and weak.
The smell. It's awful and familiar.
Hold on, that is awful.
It doesn't help. You can still smell it.
What is it?
Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency. That faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear. It is death. It must be.
Heads up, Lieutenant. Something's not right here.
The lieutenant has already brought a handkerchief to his nose. There's some tear, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin.
Examine the tear.
2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic.
A tragedy.
The lieutenant looks in the can, eyes watering from the smell.
He shakes his head with genuine sadness.
Examine the cigarettes.
Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content.
Examine the kebab wrapper.
You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there.
Hold on.
The lieutenant squats next to the corpse and examines his face. 2 bulging eyes stare back at him, void of any signs of life.
Lividity is faintly pronounced. Whoever this is has been dead for 2 days. No longer. We need to investigate.
He stands up and shivers as a gust of wind blows through his bomber jacket.
Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself.
Study the man's clothes.
He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. A cool leather jacket with a bolt of blue? Oh no, this sounds terribly familiar.
Search his pockets.
You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card folded into 2. His jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand.
Good. We should take a look at that library card after this is done.
Study the man himself.
The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. A bad fall. It might have been dark outside. This place is a minefield in the dark. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, look frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age approximately 50 to 60 years. He was confused when he died. Confused and alone, most likely. Overcome with the awful surprise of it all. He was just about to head home. The first step back home proved to be his last. That's what the chewing gum seems to point to as well.
Study the surroundings.
There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist.
Examine his head.
A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of his head. An open wound. It's sticky and cold to your touch. This is where he came out of himself, drop by drop, when he was unconscious. It took 3, maybe 4 minutes.
I don't see any other major wounds, do you?
No, just this one at the back of his head.
Seems like the head wound was fatal. It's exactly the shape of the bench.
Step on the floorboard.
The boards screech under the weight of the T500 ceramic sabatons. It's a good thing they're so light, because it's hard to determine whether it was the dead man's weight that caused the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would have never found him.
Examine the bottle.
A .75-liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside.
Tear all around us.
He looks at 2 other bottles near the coin-operated viewer, then at your yellow plastic bag.
I'd prefer if you didn't collect them this time. It's not proper.
True. It feels disrespectful.
Examine the chewing gum wrapper.
Grabowski spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall.
Look in.
The blackness of death. Stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Confirmed. Nearly the whole pack is there. Solidified on his lower rear teeth.
He ate the whole pack, right? It's to cover the smell of alcohol before going home. The worst thing is, I've seen it before. Almost the same scenario, even the chewing gum. It's always the same.
The entire boardwalk creaks in the wind as you take a step back.
Who is this man?
Looks like one of the locals. He'd have to know this spot to come here. You don't just walk over here.
He looks south the way you came.
But that's just a lazy assumption. What do you think?
A dead working-class man with a bottle in his hand? Don't deceive yourself. You know who this is.
We know who this is. It's the working-class woman's missing husband, dead on the boardwalk.
The woman you met at the book stand? Why do you think it's her husband?
Because it's the most working-class death you've ever seen.
This is the most working-class way to go. Completely alienated and forgotten.
Yes, but what actual facts do you have that connect him with this woman you met at the book stand?
The leather jacket. It matches her description perfectly.
The bright blue lining? Well, he's definitely someone's husband.
What do you think happened here?
Death by misadventure. He slipped and fell through the boardwalk. A truly unfortunate accident. If it wouldn't have been for that bench, he'd be alive.
Someone should be held responsible for this broken boardwalk. It's dangerous.
They'll seal this place off after the news reaches the coalition officials. I doubt that they have enough resources to actually repair the boardwalk. Not that sealing it off would keep anyone away. All it does is keep the city council's hands clean.
He smiles sourly. What about the kebab?
What about it? The deceased ate some kebab. It's probably from a nearby place, maybe in the box.
Sometimes a kebab is just a kebab.
It does seem to be a pretty straightforward misadventure. although there's still a question of identifying the body.
What should we do with him?
From where I stand, I can see two options. We either take the case and follow the leads to identify the body on our own, or we report back to the station and leave this for our colleagues to handle.
Hold on, what about field autopsy?
A field autopsy isn't necessary if the cause of death doesn't appear to be criminal, and this looks like a simple accident to me. I'd say we should just write down head trauma and leave it at that. Let's keep this detour as short as possible. The sooner we get back to finding Ruby, the better.
You're right, I don't see anything criminal here. Let's leave it at that.
Good call. The guys at processing can take care of the rest.
We found him. We should finish this.
Alright, we should first examine the library card you found. Then we can call the station from my kinema. Let them know we are taking the case.
This coin-operated viewer has been out of order for years. Well, I thought I had fast travel. Maybe I need to be at the shack. Moonshine, probably. Smells like tasty fermentation. There's a lot more stuff I want to do over here, but it's getting pretty late in the day. Relax, it isn't yours. You didn't crash every MC in Revachol, hopefully.
The library card is folded into two and still slightly wet to the touch. The front side reads, Central Jamrock Public Library Card, issued to Billy Mejean, expires July 53. Billy is a unisex name. Could be the deceased, or his family member. Whoever owns this card is an avid reader. You find a list of books written in blue pencil. Radio thriller. Stand a little less between me and the sun. The last one in the list is The Glinton Curve by M. Theobald. A library stamp indicates that the book has been returned. Most of these titles seem to be in the sci-fi genre. Some thrillers too. If lost, please return the card to the library. Dial 005 02 55211 or visit us at Moreau Street, 78, Jamrock. Business hours, 900 to 1800.
Good. We should give them a call from my kinema. See if we can learn anything about Billy Mejean.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Connect me to Jamrock Public Library.
I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the library is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
We should try again during business hours.
Anything else, Detective?
I need to report a dead body on the Martinez boardwalk.
One moment.
You can hear her shuffling through some paper.
Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
An unidentified middle-aged man. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Dark hair, medium build. Looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk, and hit his head against the metal bench.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence?
Nah, seems like it was an accident.
No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
He was wearing boots, trousers, and an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets.
Any information on the library card?
It's from Central Jamrock Public Library. It belongs to someone named Billy Mejean.
Good. You have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
We're taking the case.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. 57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you
Can I help you?
Gart, I need to sing karaoke now.
No, you don't. It's not happening.
You need to approach this situation logically. Ask him why he has the PA system installed if you can't use it.
Yeah, but Johnny Law is about to tear it up sad style.
The whirling doesn't need more sad style. That's one of the styles it can do without right now.
Why do you even have the PA system if no one's going to use it?
It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of 44.
What happened in 44?
A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke.
It's not a prop. It's for your clients. I know it's used.
Okay, yes, it's for some clients.
Okay, fuck me then. Just fuck me.
Stop yelling.
I'm a real client. I paid my bills, and I have the right to use the karaoke machine.
Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
It's alright. I have my own song with me.
The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to frown. Hard.
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself. Oh yeah, time to do the damage. Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center. You're at home, stupid cop. Not with the art crowd. You hate them. Everyone hates them. Even they hate themselves. It's nauseating. An industry built on sprezzatura and sparkling wine. And, let's be honest, tax evasion schemes. The Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center is the heart of this unholy symbiosis of aesthetics and tax optimization. And now that you've internalized it, you can have a piece too.
Encyclopedia passives give you plus 10 experience and plus 2 real. Minus 2 to suggestion. Pretentious wanker. Okay. Well, I know what kind of check is coming up, so I'm going to go ahead and stack the deck in my favor.
There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The 1st Smokes Platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir.
Pull one out of the pack.
You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Light it up.
Get a load of this rock and roll cop hair, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go. The lighter's dark green disposable plastic. Safety's off. In your case, the safety is always off.
Dip that bad boy in the flame and breathe in.
Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself, the man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls. The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy, a little unsteady suddenly.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
Look around the room first.
The bar is full and buzzing with chatter. No one is paying you any attention. But still you feel your knees turn to noodles. Okay, now a couple is looking at you. Even worse, they are going to hate you.
Look, Kim, I'm going to sing karaoke.
I can see that.
The lieutenant steps away from the stage, ready for your performance. Drama, formidable. 92%. I'm ready, Gart. Hit play.
The air is thick with anticipation. Someone dims the lights as the music starts. Okay, here we go.
I would often go there, to the tiny church there, the smallest church in Saint-San, though it once was larger. How the real may rest there. Down through the mist there, toward the Seven Sisters, toward those pale cliffs there. I would often stay there, in that tiny yard there. I have been so glad here, looking forward to the past here. But now, you are all alone. None of this matters. No, none of this matters at all.
A lazy applause fills the room. You feel your hands shake as awareness of your body returns to you.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my partner, Kim Kitsuragi.
The lieutenant doesn't say anything, but gives you a quick smile before turning away.
Good, good. Are we ready? I want to unplug the microphone now.
Last words?
Evening will come. We will sow the white sail. Workers of the world, unite. We did it. Let's go, and let's call it there.